Shalom. Hebrew Israelites from Sons of Yahweh camp, back again, right? Prophesying the downfall of America and exhorting our people to drop the wickedness, come back to your heritage, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? If you're an Israelite from Negro or indigenous descent on your father's side, right? We're talking to you. So we want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's Yahweh, creator of all things, the Most High, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who's ignorantly known as Jesus Christ, right? Also, we want to say peace and blessings to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and we want to say woe to the other nations, right? So, you know, we the Israelites, right? We bringing out the truth of the Bible, okay? But within the truth, right, of the Bible, there's many truths, okay? So we're going to touch on some of the truths that are, you know, within the truth as a whole, right? The truth of the Bible. All right, so we're going to be setting some things straight, right? Because a lot of y'all been taught wrong, right? Through Christianity and propaganda and social media programming, okay? So the truth hurts, right? But a lot of times that's because you don't know it, you don't understand it, right? And you're not operating in the manner that you are supposed to, okay? So then, yeah, the truth does hurt, all right? But for us, the truth is refreshing, okay? It's something to look forward to, something that we can put our faith in and find comfort in too, right? Because it's hell out here in America, Babylon, the whore, and in the Israelite community, no matter what country you're in, right? But that's because we haven't been keeping the law, statutes, commandments, all right? So we got to correct that. And so we're going to be building on these two proverbs here, right? So let's get Proverbs 27 and 5.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
That's right. So that's what we're here for, you know. Sometimes it don't feel good when you get called out, but we're not doing it for your detriment, but doing it for your benefit, all right? You know, if somebody doesn't tell you you're going wrong and that you need to change your ways, a lot of times you might not notice it, you might not see it, especially growing up here in America where what's good is bad and bad is good, you see? All right, so also give me Proverbs 20 and 30.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 30. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil.
Right. So, you know, when you get your butt whooped, you usually learn a lesson then, right? That bruise, that blueness of a wound, that bruise teaches lessons. You understand? Go ahead.
So do stripes the inward parts of the belly.
That's right. So, hey, you get whooped, you change inside. You know, you start to understand something ain't right. Might need to make a change here because I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. You see? Yeah. So there's some benefits to corporal punishment and to butt whoopings. You understand? Everybody needs one, you know, at some point in their life. All right, so let's start out Jeremiah 4 and 22.
Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are Sodom's children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
That's right. So we're talking about the Most High's people, right? Talking about the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? From Judah all the way down to Issachar, all right? 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Hey, we've been stupid out here, okay? Not realizing that we get harsh consequences for outbreaking the rules, you see? We don't have any understanding of that, even though it's right here in the Bible, right? The reason that is because we haven't been taught to read the Bible. We haven't been taught to follow the Bible.
Right.
Okay? But give me that Amos 3, 1 and 2.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which are brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
That's right. See? So we get the harsher consequences for our breaking the laws because we have a higher expectation, right? Those laws were given to us for our benefit and for us to properly worship our power, the Most High, right? We don't just do it however we feel. No, we gotta fear the Most High, right? We should have a healthy fear of the Most High. All right, jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it?
That's right. You see, evil is also done by the Most High, you know, and that's a hard pill to swallow when you are a product of, you know, Sunday morning Christianity, you know, where they teach lies and confusion and they misrepresent the Most High, you know, which they're going to have to pay for that, you know, because the instructions and everything you need is right here in front of you, okay? And you're walking around with a Bible in your hand, you're going to be held accountable for not doing what's in it, you know? So to increase your chances at avoiding evil, the evil in the city, you got to do the commandments, right? And this is how you fear the Most High, pursuant to Deuteronomy 6 and 2, okay? Which we're not going to pull at. But give me that in Psalm 1:11 and 10.
Psalm 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
That's right. So if you want to consider yourself to be wise, especially dealing with things involving spiritual things and things of the Bible and the Most High, there has to be some fear of the Most High involved in that. All right, go ahead.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
That's right. So if you want to have a good understanding of things regarding the truth, you have to do the commandments, you see. And this is why we don't understand the truth, right? The truth of the Bible. And therefore, this is why the truth hurts so bad, you see. Because, you know, when we hear things that happening throughout the earth, or we read about biblical things, you know, it doesn't shake our faith. We're not, you know, we're not thrown off by that, you know, because we study, we pray, but most of all, we do the things that are written within the Bible that we're commanded to do, right? That's how you gain understanding, okay? So, so now let's look at some of these truths, right, I was talking about, okay? So the first one, hey, truth is, this ain't easy, okay? It's a little bit more than just standing in a pulpit and letting everybody else do all the work. You know, you're passing the plate around, you know, you're not really, you don't have to break anything down, you don't have to explain anything, nobody's asking you any, they're not allowed to, in that forum, ask any questions, right? They say, oh, you come on Wednesday night for that. But guess what? On Wednesday night, they got an agenda there too, and it don't have anything to do with teaching you the Bible.
Right.
Okay? It's all about building funds, right, for the church or for the pastor. So, you know, if you want to learn and understand this Bible, you got to start reading it by yourself, right? And then the Spirit will sup with you. And then when you have questions or you run across things that you don't understand, then you can reach out to the Israelites, right? then also you'll start to find out you need to start fellowshipping with the like-minded brothers and sisters, right? You need to start keeping the feast days. You need to start loving your brother. You need to start not trusting your enemy. Like, all these things are going to benefit you in this walk of being a true Christian, okay? Right? Because this real Christian walk that we're on, right, the ones where you actually follow Christ and do the things that Christ did, it's not what you hear about in your Sunday morning church, okay? So the more you do the work, understand the Bible, the more sighing and crying you're going to do, right? Because now you start to see the injustices that's going on, with your people, and you start to understand that, why is this happening? How did we get this far? How did it get this bad? And then even more importantly, how do we change this, right? You got to repent, right? And you got to transform your ways, okay? So give me Ecclesiastes 1:18.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
Right. So the more you know, the more you understand about the Bible, first of all, the more you're going to understand about the world around you. And then the more you understand that, the more stress you're going to have. Right? Which is kind of a beautiful thing, because it's like, the more studying you do and the more praying you do, the more heaviness that's on you, the more sighing and crying you do. So then the more you need to read and pray, right? So that's the Most High keeping you in the spirit. You understand? And that's a beautiful thing, because we have, as the Israelites, practicing Israelites, we got a lot of the same problems that everybody else has. But the only thing is, we're looking at these things through a different lens, okay? And that's how we're able to stay strong, steadfast, right? And keep pushing forward, despite all of the same evils that everybody else goes through that makes them fall out of the truth, commit suicide, leave their husbands and wives, turn their back on whatever they had, right? Trying to find something because they don't know the truth. They're not grounded in a biblical understanding, and they're lost, right? So I thank the Most High and give him all the praise for keeping me in the spirit in these uncertain and trying times, right? Which we say, these are beautiful times, though, right? Because for all the uncertainty that the worldly people have, we have confidence, right? We know who we worship, okay? And we trust and believe, and we have the faith, right? So it's just a beautiful thing to be a practicing Israelite here amongst other brothers, right? I implore all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men, women, and child to come back to your heritage, right? Start reading the Bible. Stop taking the Bible as a joke, okay? This is not Christianity, right? This is the truth and the practice of the Bible, right? Most High's word. So we take this thing seriously here. It's not a joke, and that's why we're here regularly, right? Studying, doing the work, reading, trying to bring lessons out to wake up the elect, okay? So the mission itself, you might consider it painful, right? Dealing with the public, particularly the Israelites, right? The most hard-headed people on the planet, right? And trying to wake them up, wake up the elect of the Israelites, okay? Let's get Matthew chapter 10, 16, 18.
All right, Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles.
That's right. Hey, so, troubles are part of this thing. See that? Now, let's get that in Ecclesiasticus, in Sirach. Oh, you got some more on that?
Oh, you want 21 and 22?
Oh, it's like, yeah. Let's jump down to 21, 22.
Okay, Matthew chapter 10 and verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death.
Hey, so even in your own household, there's troubles, right? When you start to do the things that are required for you as an Israelite, right? I.e., keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and having the faith in Yahweh Shai. All right? Go ahead.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
That's right. And we believe that, right? And we have faith in that, and that's why we continue to endure, okay? Because you're not saved right now, period. Because troubles are still here, and, you still got to endure. You still got to stay consistent, You got to continue to make lessons, continue to read, right? Continue to keep your head on the swivel, right? Listening to the news, right? Discarding the BS, taking in what the Spirit is leading you to believe is correct, right? And what things you need to focus on and bring out to the people, right? So, it's definitely a spiritual walk here, but it's definitely not a piece of cake, all right? So give me that Ecclesiasticus 2, 1 and 2.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
That's right. So, hey, in times of trouble, man, you just got to dig your heels in, right? And stand strong. You know what I'm saying? Keep pushing to build the kingdom, right? Because that's where our security is in the kingdom to come.